Imagine a fighter jet that doesn't need a multi-billion-dollar airbase to operate. Imagine a machine that can land on a regular highway, be refueled and rearmed by a crew of teenagers in less than 10 minutes, and then take off again to hunt down the most advanced stealth fighters in the world. This is the Saab JAS 39 Gripen. Born from the cold necessity of Swedish neutrality, it was designed for one specific nightmare: a total invasion where every major airfield is destroyed. It is the most intelligent fighter ever built, a digital predator that trades brute force for surgical precision and electronic ghosting. Today, we're going inside the world of the Swedish Griffin to see why this small, lethal jet is the ultimate giant killer, and why, in the high-stakes game of modern air warfare, the smartest bird in the sky is the one you never see coming. The origin of the Gripen is a story of extreme national defiance. During the Cold War, Sweden sat directly in the path of a potential Soviet steamroller. Their military leaders knew that in a real war, their airbases would be vaporized by nuclear or conventional strikes within the first hour. They needed a jet that could live in the forests and operate from public roads. This BA-90 strategy demanded a machine with incredible short takeoff and landing capabilities. In the early 1980s, Saab began work on a triple-threat jet, JAS, which stands for Jacked, Attack, and Spaning, meaning fighter, attack, and reconnaissance. Engineering the Gripen required a radical approach to aerodynamics. The designers chose a light, compact airframe with large canard wings in the front. These canards aren't just for maneuverability, they act as massive air brakes during landing. This allows the Gripen to touch down on a narrow strip of asphalt, only 800 meters long, and stop on a dime. This highway capability is the Gripen's primary insurance policy. While an F-22 or an F-35 needs a pristine, mile-long runway with specialized cooling and maintenance, the Gripen can hide under a camouflage net on a country road and wait for its moment to strike. But the real genius of the Gripen lies in its turnaround time. Sweden's defense plan relies on conscripts, young citizens with only basic training. Therefore, the Gripen was designed to be the easiest fighter in the world to maintain. A single professional technician and 5 conscripts can fully refuel, rearm, and inspect the jet in just 10 minutes for air-to-air missions. This high sortie rate means that a small fleet of Gripens can act like a much larger force, constantly cycling through the sky and overwhelming the enemy through sheer persistence. The first prototype of the JAS-39 flew in 1988, but the path was not easy. The jet suffered 2 high-profile crashes during testing due to issues with its flight control software. Critics claimed that Sweden was trying to do too much with too little. But the Swedes didn't quit. They realized that the instability of the jet, which caused the crashes, was actually its greatest strength in combat. By using a sophisticated fly-by-wire system to manage that instability, they created a fighter that could outturn almost anything in the sky, responding to a pilot's touch with lightning-fast agility. When the Gripen officially entered service in the mid-90s, it represented a new philosophy of network-centric warfare. Long before the F-35 made it famous, the Gripen was already sharing data between aircraft in real time. A flight of 4 Gripens could operate as a single organism, with one jet using its radar while the other 3 remained silent and invisible, receiving the target data and launching missiles from the shadows. It was the birth of the smart fighter, a machine that proved that in the digital age, information is the most lethal weapon an aircraft can carry. The most terrifying feature of the Gripen is its electronic warfare suite, known as the MFSEWS. This is the Iziaminka that makes the Gripen a nightmare even for stealth jets. Instead of relying purely on a stealthy shape, the Gripen uses digital stealth. Its internal sensors are designed to suppress and jam enemy radar so effectively that the Gripen can get within firing range of a Su-35 or even a 5th-generation jet without ever being detected. It doesn't just hide from radar, it lies to it, creating a digital fog that leaves the enemy shooting at ghosts. The firepower of the Gripen is centered around the Meteor missile. The Gripen was the first jet in the world to integrate this long-range, ramjet-powered monster. The Meteor has a no-escape zone, several times larger than the American AIM-120. When combined with the Gripen's ability to fly silently and share target data via a secure link, the jet becomes a long-range sniper. It can launch a meteor at an enemy 100 miles away and then immediately turn around and vanish, while the missile's own active radar guides it to the kill. Accuracy is managed by a cockpit that is considered the most ergonomic in the world. The Gripen uses a large area display that merges all sensor data into a single, intuitive tactical map. The pilot doesn't have to fiddle with buttons. The plane's decision support system suggests the best targets and the best weapons to use. This allows a Gripen pilot to maintain a high level of situational awareness even in the middle of a chaotic dogfight. It is a machine that rewards intelligence, allowing a pilot to stay 2 steps ahead of any opponent who relies on raw engine power alone. The engine itself is a masterpiece of reliability, the Volvo RM12, based on the General Electric F404. While it is a single-engine jet, the RM12 is modified for extreme ruggedness, designed to handle the ingestion of ice, snow, and debris from improvised runways. The Gripen E, the latest version, features the even more powerful F414 engine, allowing the jet to supercruise, flying supersonic without using afterburners. This allows the Gripen to maintain high speeds for long durations, giving it the reach needed to patrol vast territories like the Baltic Sea or the Brazilian rainforest. To handle the physical stress of its incredible agility, the Gripen's airframe is made of nearly 30% carbon fiber composites. This makes the jet exceptionally light and strong, capable of pulling 9 Gs repeatedly without structural fatigue. The modular design also means that the brain of the Gripen, the hardware and software, are separated. This allows Saab to push out software updates every few months, much like a smartphone. The Gripen you fly today is vastly more capable than the one you flew yesterday, making it a future-proof weapon that evolves faster than any other jet on the market. The Gripen's combat reputation was forged in the legendary Red Flag exercises. During these high-stakes war games, the Swedish pilots shocked the US Air Force by killing the F-15 and F-16 with surgical precision. In one famous incident, the Gripen's electronic warfare suite was so effective that the enemy radars couldn't even see the Swedish jets as they dismantled their entire air defense network. This performance proved that the Gripen wasn't just a budget fighter, it was a high-tech predator that could humiliate the world's most expensive air forces. The hype of the Gripen grew even further during trials in Southeast Asia and South America. Thailand and Brazil chose the Gripen over the American F-16 and the French Rafale. Why? Because of its full technology transfer. Unlike the US, which keeps its source code a secret, Sweden allowed Brazil to build their own Gripens and write their own software. This made the Gripen the ultimate sovereignty fighter, a jet that belongs entirely to the nation that buys it, without any backdoors or political strings attached to Washington or Moscow. The experience of Hungarian and Czech pilots patrolling NATO's borders has added to the Gripen's legend. In dozens of intercepts against Russian bombers and fighters over the Baltic, the Gripen has proven its absolute reliability. It is often the first jet to reach the intercept point because of its rapid scramble time. Pilots report that the Gripen's sensor fusion allows them to own the interaction, staying out of the Russian radar's view while maintaining a perfect lock on the intruder. It is the silent guardian of the European border, a machine that commands respect through its quiet competence. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine has thrust the Gripen into the global spotlight like never before. Military analysts have labeled it the perfect jet for Ukraine. Its ability to fly from damaged runways, its low maintenance requirements, and its optimization for hunting Russian Su-30s and Su-35s make it a strategic game-changer. The Ukrainian pilots, used to the ruggedness of Soviet-era jets, see the Gripen as the ultimate upgrade, a machine that combines Western brains with a palingenetic Swedish heart that thrives in the mud and the cold. The psychological impact of the Gripen is its unpredictability. Because it doesn't need huge airbases, an enemy can never be sure where the Gripens are hiding. One day they are at a highway stop, the next they are in a forest, and the next they are flying from a small civilian airport. This distributed force creates a massive headache for enemy planners, who have to waste their expensive cruise missiles on empty roads while the Gripens continue to strike from the shadows. It is the ultimate asymmetrical weapon, a machine that turns a small nation's geography into its greatest defense. The final analysis of the JAS-39 Gripen is a story of ultimate efficiency. It proved that a smart design can beat a heavy design every time. The Gripen established the blueprint for the cost-effective fighter, the idea that you can have world-class lethality without bankrupting your nation. It has outlived its critics and remains the primary choice for nations that want air superiority without the trillion-dollar price tag. It is the sovereign of the road, a machine that turned Swedish neutrality into a global standard of excellence. The legacy of the Gripen can be seen in the new Gripen E, or Global Eye integration. The newest version of the jet is essentially a mini F-35 but with better electronic warfare and much lower operating costs. It is designed to fight in a world where drones and sensors are everywhere. The Gripen taught the world that the most important armor is a clean signal and a fast processor, and that the ability to adapt your software is the only way to survive the high-tech wars of the future. Looking toward the future, Saab is already exploring 6th-generation technologies to keep the Gripen relevant until the 2060s. This includes integration with loyal wingman drones and AI-driven combat assistance. The Gripen isn't just an airplane, it's a platform for constant digital evolution. It is being prepared for a world where the sky is filled with thousands of sensors, acting as the smart node that coordinates the chaos of the digital battlefield into a single, winning strategy. The cultural legacy of the Gripen is one of Swedish sisu, the quiet, stubborn determination to be the best. It is a symbol of a small nation that can build anything, from the world's safest cars to the world's smartest jets. For the pilots who fly the Gripen, it is a point of immense pride. They know they are flying a machine that was built by their own people to protect their own land, a sacred trust that is written into every line of the plane's flight code. The Gripen is the embodiment of the phrase, quality over quantity. Standing next to a Gripen E today, you feel its clean, compact, and incredibly purposeful presence. It looks like a high-tech tool, sharp and ready for work. It doesn't look like a bloated relic of the Cold War, it looks like a craft that belongs in a future where speed, intelligence, and stealth are the only things that matter. From the highway warrior of the 80s to the smart hunter of today, the Gripen has remained the ultimate tool of national security. It is the machine that ensures the sky remains free, turning Swedish engineering into a permanent law of the sky. The JAS-39 Gripen is more than a fighter jet, it is a 10-ton guarantee of national independence. It proved that in the 21st century, the most important armor is the ability to outthink your opponent while remaining flexible enough to fight from anywhere. It is a masterpiece of fire, digital jamming, and absolute Swedish grit that redefined the very nature of air power. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the smart fighter. Is the Gripen the most practical fighter in history, or will stealth always be the king of the sky? Let us know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe as we continue to explore the fire and steel of history. Peace out.